wearing the costume. You live with these things for so long in your head. They just felt like living things. And when the alchemy of it collides and meets you, I remember feeling so emotional. It just felt right.
Hi, Focus Fashion fans, and welcome back to Dressed, the series that celebrates the costumes of Focus Features films. Today, I'm here in London to discuss the incredible costumes of Hamnet. From Academy Award-winning writer-director Chloe Zhao, Hamnet tells a powerful story that inspired the creation of Shakespeare's timeless masterpiece, Hamlet. Well, it's such an honor to be joined here by the costume designer of Hamnet, Małgosia Trzanska. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
First of all, the movie is so beautiful. How did you connect with Chloe on this particular movie, and what drew you to this project?
Chloe and I have a history of missed connections. We went to NYU together and I was going to do her first movie. It almost happened, then the movie pushed, then I couldn't do it. And so finally we got to work together on Hamnet.
What did she bring into the movie initially for you to say, like, this is the world I see them in?
Honestly, openness and feelings. It was never about doing a period piece. It was about connecting to these two people, forgetting that they were based on real characters, just creating individuals and letting both Jesse and Paul discover those characters and letting us discover this world as if we were hearing about it for the very, very first time.
This movie very much is about an emotional journey. The connection to location, to character, to costume happens immediately.
Yeah.
How did you help conceive of what that would be?
Agnes is very much of the woods. There was a possibility that she was going to be more in like greens and browns and so on, but somehow it felt that she always needed to be red, almost as if she was a product of nature. So like a berry, but also like a living, bloody muscle. And then gradually it turns into a little bit of a dried, sad scab. But the nature part, it was the textures of roots, the dirt of the soil, things that make you feel like they grew out of a tree, basically. And so using a lot of plant-based fibers like linens and bark cloth and kind of letting her exist as a little animal almost.
So I want to talk a little bit actually about Paul's character, William Shakespeare, AKA Will. How did you go about sort of conceiving how Will would be?
I wanted to make sure that we give this Will a chance to live, that we forget about, you know, the portraits that we've seen of him, that we forget about the baggage that a character like that has. Part of it was him as a man growing up with an abusive father in a colder family, trying to represent those screams that never happened, you know, through those little slashes. Gradually it grows, you know, he gets bigger and bigger slashes. The color, I wanted to make sure that the way he started was a little bit more hopeful. There is a little bit of the blues and greens, and you can see how the beginning of the relationship is so beautiful and so hopeful, and they look so gorgeous together. They like truly found their person. Then gradually he is drained of color. At the very, very end, as the ghost, he is just completely covered in this white clay and cracked. Where we see them at the beginning, and she's in the reds and he's in the sort of greenish blues, they're two pieces of a whole. Whereas here, they don't match anymore. Even though their shapes are so similar, there's no connection.
We are talking about a movie that's set in 16th century Elizabethan era. How accurate would you say that you wanted to be when it came to conceiving these costumes?
So I did extensive research and I wanted to make sure that I know the rules of the period. I needed to know the vocabulary and like what the actual textures and structures of the clothing were. But ultimately, my goal always, not only in this movie, is to be not in the way of the story. These are shapes that are a little bit unusual to our eye right now. So it is a little bit stripped. We just wanted to make sure that it is organic and true to this world, to our story.
Tell me a story.
What story would you like?
Something that moves you.
Thank you, Paul and Jesse, for joining us. The minute the movie starts, you're in it and you're like drawn into it, and it's chills from seeing you, Jesse, just lying there in nature, curled up in this puddle of red. When you started conversing with Małgosia, how did you break down the character in terms of what you thought Anya should be wearing?
I didn't know, to be honest, and it was more textural stuff and colors. Straight away, there was a red.
Yes.
And then we were just sending other images of kind of textures and wood and weaving things, and like that was really how we began to sew in the soul of Agnes into the costumes.
How many reds did you all both have to go through?
I don't remember, honestly, because it was just like, going from one to the other and like darkening things, and like even, this orange is like the sleeves. It was a very bright orange, but we just like rubbed dirt into it until it feels lived in.
Małgosia, well, you want to tell us a little bit about the bark cloth here?
So actually this is made out of bark cloth, which is literally a tree. Yes, it is dyed, but it is truly unprocessed, just a piece of, when you strip the bark off, and it would like come apart a little bit. It started living its own life as we were shooting, but the bark cloth seemed like it had to be there.
Paul, with your character, with Will, it was a slightly different take. It was much more about stormy grays.
Yes.
How did the costumes help you inhabit the character?
Something that me and Chloe kind of agreed on around the casting process is that, like, for me to want to play this, I don't want to play him like a cerebral, heady person. I want him to feel like animalistic and fundamentally masculine. So it's about having these kind of layers, and then sleeves kind of undone and rolled up, and seeing ink going up his hands. Chloe thought about water with Will a huge amount, and it felt like a good contrast.
I think a lot of people won't know this detail, is that during the 16th century Elizabethan era, men would wear daggers around their waist, but you opted to not wear that, and you wanted this, which is called a penner, which is sort of a case that carried a quill and ink.
Yeah.
I think he would feel naked if he left the house without a quill and his inkwell.
I thought you were a man of words, Master Tutor.
Yes.
Are you not?
Speaking with people is sometimes difficult for me.
As we move towards the end of the movie, I wanted to talk about this. How did you feel putting this on, Jesse?
Agnes is so full of life at the beginning and fearless with her life. There is something about that color, almost like when blood has dried up, and even the stitches, the threads are worn thin.
It really feels like a lack of effort for me, in a way where it feels like I just am getting through life. I'm just getting through my day.
This is not a proper way to dress. The skirt is missing, this is just a smock with the bodies, and it's dead, Yes, it does feel like wood, but it feels like if you touched it, it withers and falls into dust. So it just felt like very devoid of life and love.
Paul, I want to talk to you too, because in terms of Will's progression, the slashes on his costumes get increasingly larger and more prominent.
I feel like it's a manifestation. The outside is his inside. What it is costing him to write this play, it's tearing him apart. All of the consideration that Małgosia put into it just felt correct. It just felt kind of like irrefutable.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Paul. Congratulations on the movie. It really is such a powerful, incredible movie. And
She's
of course,
amazing.
Małgosia is amazing. And
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Break me off! Look where it comes again!
In the same figure, like the king that's dead.
There is also a play within the movie. So you actually had to create costumes for the play at the Globe Theatre.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
William Shakespeare writes very famously Hamlet. How did you go about creating the show within the movie?
The way it was done in the era is the people on the stage would have worn the same as the people in the audience. It helped the people in the audience see themselves on stage. So it was a moment of connection. So I was trying to find something that was using the shapes of the period, but had a little bit of a modern touch to them. So what we ended up doing is we built everything out of raw linen, and then just painted a flat coat of latex paint, super not period appropriate. It brought this theatricality and the meta aspect to it that hopefully lets both us and the audience in Hamnet cross-connect to the people on stage.
Almost every single thing created for the play was hand-painted.
Yes,
And
by me actually.
By you?
Yes.
Wait, you hand-painted this yourself?
Yes, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. That's the.
But what's really interesting is that if you can feel the heft of this is a heavy jacket, then you put a layer of paint over it and then you aged it. So in a way, you almost created a veneer for these characters that felt artificial.
I think it gives the story another layer, literally, that, you know, this is a play as Hamlet. We've seen it, we've all read it, everyone knows it, and so there is already a patina over it, and it's just kind of acknowledging it and in a way like turning it on its head a little bit. So I hope it works.
Thank you, Malgosia.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
They may be gone. My boy. Our children's hearts beat. They smile, play. He will live.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Dressed. I hope you enjoyed this detailed look into the incredible costumes from Hamnet. I can't wait to see you all again next time. Until then.